fundamental. Okay, got it. Nabasa ko lang to. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. So, dapat ganun lang lagi nating nakikita. We see opportunities amidst of disasters, amidst of difficulties. Sige, unahin natin si Julina. Julina, are you there?
Sir.
Okay. Can you read the first question?
The criteria that define the highest and best use include all of the following except the use must be physically possible, the use must be legally permissible and economically feasible, the use must be low density, the use must be maximally productive.
Anong sagot?
Letter C po.
Letter?
C.
The use must be low density. So kindly take note. Itong question na to, hindi pwedeng hindi lumabas ito sa board exam. So lumalabas ito sa broker, appraiser, and real estate consultant exam. Kasi isang concept ito na napaka-importante sa mga real estate practitioner. So for this one, meron na kayong siguradong sagot, siguradong 1 point sa board exam. I'm confident lalabas ito. So it's either the definition of highest and best use or sasabihin yung definition ng sagot ay highest and best use. Ang ano po niyan, ang acronym niyan HABU. Kung naririnig niyo yun sa kung naririnig niyo yun sa school, HABU. So highest and best use. So yung highest and best use ng isang property, ang i-consider dyan, it should be legally permissible, economically or financially feasible, must be physically possible, and maximally productive. So the answer is C kasi except. So make sure you know the definition of highest and best use. 1 point na yan. Kung di ako nagkakamali, the board exam is 400 questions. So tatlong yan 100, 100, 200. Parang ganun lang. Or 200, 100, 100. Hindi ko lang sure yung pagkakasunod-sunod. Saglit lang. Okay. Si Sir Perseus. Hindi natin naririnig si Sir Perseus. O nga, ba't di natin naririnig si Sir Perseus? Pero naka-on naman yung miss. Sige, ayusin muna ni Sir Perseus. Si muna ang tawagin natin. Si Jayan. Hello, Jayan.
Hello po. Power morning po.
Power morning.
Number 2, when you are analyzing macroeconomic information for real estate, which of these elements will you best consider? Letter A, import and export. B, inflation rate. C, OFW remittances. D, stock market trends.
Anong sagot?
B. Letter B.
Letter B, the inflation rate. Dito, may mga lumalabas dito pa isa-isa. Pwedeng itanong kasi, ano ang inflation rate last year? Halimbawa, kasi ang exam natin ngayon is sa April, no? So, ang possible na maitanong dyan, ano ang inflation rate overall noong 2022? Or ano ang inflation rate ng fourth quarter of 2022? At saka since April yan, malamang natapos na yung exam, ay yung paggawa ng exam, malamang hindi na itanong yung first quarter inflation rate. Pero to be safe, ano po, i-research niyo na. Ano yung inflation rate nung 2022? Ano ang inflation rate ng fourth quarter of 2022? At ano ang inflation rate ng first quarter of 2023? So, maaaring itanong yon. Ang kasama niyan, i-search niyo na rin the same din, ano ang GDP natin, gross domestic product, ano natin, noong 2022, the fourth quarter of 2022, and the first quarter of 2023. So, may lumalabas diyan pa isa-isa. Kasi during our hindi lang ako sure kung broker or appraiser, tinanong ang GDP or inflation rate. Hindi ko lang masyadong ma-recall, pero nandun sa dalawang 'yon, tinanong. Okay? Si Dinaya. Yan, si Dinaya. Ngayon ko lang ata ako paano. Hello, Dinaya.
So, a study of the supply and demand conditions in a specific area for a specific type of property is called A. Economic base, B. Projection analysis, C. Market analysis, D. Supply and demand. Hindi ko po
Ano?
sure.
Sige, okay lang. Ano, mas maganda nga mali mo para sa board exam itatama mo na. Ano sagot?
C po.
Yan. Market analysis. So, when we talk about the supply and demand, we're talking about the market. So, ano po natin to Dapat by heart alam niyo tong definition na to. So, market analysis. Ganyan, lumalabas yan sa board exam. Pati yung economic base na yan. So, kindly check the definition of economic base. So, number 3. So, number 4, si Miss Michelle.
Our morning po.
Our morning,
Which
Miss
of the
Michelle.
following are economic forces that affect real estate value? A. Environmental protection laws. B. Employment opportunities and trends. C. Zoning and land use regulation. D. Family size and age group distribution. Economic forces. Hindi ko po alam. Letter C po.
Letter?
C. Zoning and land use regulation.
Explain ko sa inyo isa-isa. Which of the following are economic forces that affect real estate value? Ito pong mga tanong to lumalabas sa board exam. So you really have to understand ano ba tong mga economic forces, the environmental effects or environmental force. Pag environmental protection law, sa environment kasi yon. Pag zoning, it's more of the legal political. Pag family size and age group, ang tawag diyan mga social forces. So mga demographic, so that's social. So zoning and land use, that's political or legal. Tapos yung environmental protection, that is environmental forces. So yung employment opportunities and trends, these are economic forces. So maaaring itanong sa inyo, which of the following are social forces? So ang sagot doon, pag social, family. Pag sabing, which of the following are environmental forces that affect real estate value? So environmental protection law. So lumalabas yan sa board exam. So make sure you understand the concept. Bakit sa environmental? O makikita mo, environmental yung term. Zoning, so it's more of the legal or political. Family size and age group, that is social. So, dapat alam natin ang konsepto sa tanong na to. So, lumalabas po ito sa board exam. Maaaring ibang dating ng tanong. Sir Christian.
Our morning, sir.
Yeah, sir.
This states that the property's market value is based on the investor's expectation of a future event. A. Principle of anticipation. B. Economic projection. C. Principle of competition. D. Speculative marketing. A. Principle of anticipation, sir.
Yeah. The principle. Oh, as I have said, ito lumalabas tong mga principle na to. Yung principle of anticipation and principle of competition, dapat alam na po natin yung mga definition nan. 'Di ba? Meron pa ring principle of highest and best use, principle of supply and demand. Ito rin, principle of competition. Dapat alam po natin itong mga konseptong kasi lumalabas sa board exam. Dito, ang keyword lang dito, expectation of a future event. So from the word expectation of a future, you are anticipating the market value. So for the future ng isang particular property. So that is principle of anticipation. I hope by heart maintindihan natin itong mga principle na to. Kasi sigurado may lalabas diyan sa board exam. Mga 2 to 3 questions. Yan. Ito maganda rin to. Nakita ko si Christine. Si Tin.
Hello po, sir.
Yeah.
Which of the following types of depreciation is always, for all practical purposes, incurable? A. Economic obsolescence. B. Functional obsolescence. C. Physical deterioration. D. None of the above. All types are, practically speaking, curable. Guess lang po, sir, kasi wala pa po kami sa ganitong topic.
Sige, okay lang.
Depreciation. Economic. None of the above po, sir.
Sige. Dito, inano ko to, ginugol ko kanina para maintindihan nyo. Ano ba yung curable at ano yung incurable? So you have to understand this. Dahil as far as I remember, may isang lumabas na ganitong question. So kailangan nating ma-define ano ba yung curable, ano ba yung incurable. Yan. Types of depreciation. What is curable and what is incurable depreciation? Ito, i-highlight ko lang. Yan. Curable depreciation is a loss of value that can be corrected at a cost less than the increase in property value that would result if it were corrected. Whereas an incurable depreciation either cannot be corrected or would cause more than appreciation of value. Ano ibig sabihin? Halimbawa, ang bahay. Ang bahay kasi nagde-depreciate yan. Normally, ang bahay sa computation, 2.5% ang building nababawasan. So, 40 years lang normally ang computation nila. So, every year nababawasan siya ng 2.5. So, ano sinasabing curable? Halimbawa, nasira siya on the 3rd year or 4th year, nasisira unti-unti on the 4th year. So, nabawasan siya ng 10% dun sa original value niya. Ang sinasabi lang dito na curable, kapag ba inayos ko itong bahay na ito at na-correct ko yung dapat i-correct, yun bang cost na yon is less than the property value na magre-result kapag inayos ko siya. Halimbawa, nung hindi ko siya inaayos, ang halaga niya 3 million. Kaya lang, ang gagastusin ko sa pagpapaayos, 500,000. So, technically, dapat 3.5 million siya. Ang sinasabi lang dito, pag curable, kapag gumastos ako ng 500,000, ang magiging value ba ng property na to is more than 3.5 million. Kung gagastos ako ng 500,000 at ang magiging value lang din niya ay 3.2 million, therefore, hindi siya curable. Pero since inayos ko siya, gumastos lang ako ng 500,000 pero ang magiging value niya 4 million or 5 million, that is curable. And normally, yung physical deterioration, mga curable ano yon? Mga curable type of depreciation yon. Ito, nandito. External obsolescence. which is normal sa economic is generally incurable. So generally incurable sila. So sana maliwanag po 'yun sa atin. So ang sagot dun sa natin, balikan ko lang yung natin. Balikan ko yung sharing natin. Okay po ba tayo doon? So, ang ibig sabihin lang ng curable, pag kinure ko ba, mas tataas ba yung value niya based kesa doon sa ginastos ko nung inayos ko siya, nung kinorek ko siya. Kasi yung incurable meaning, yes, pwede siyang ayusin, pero hindi na makukuha yung higher value niya kesa doon sa ginastos natin. Or, dalawa kasi ang incurable. It can be corrected or cannot be corrected. Sinabi lang doon sa definition ng incurable, kung makokorek mo man siya, hindi mo makukuha yung value, kumbaga hindi mo mahahabol yung ginastos mo to correct it. So that is the curable and incurable types of depreciation. So dito, isa lang ang incurable dito, which is economic. Yung functional, normally kasi, halimbawa, mali yung paglalagay ng hagdan o kaya may bagong technology, hindi na applicable yung layout. Kunyari, iba na rin yung standard ng mga pintuan, iba yung standard ng mga rooms kung sakali lang. So those are functional obsolescence. Yung physical deterioration naman, kunyari yung bubong, na unti-unting nasisira, or yung mga gutters dahil hindi nalilinis lagi, bumara, yung downspout, tapos nagkadumi yung mga walls. So those are just physical deterioration na curable naman. So I hope you understand the types of depreciation, the curable and incurable. Ano ba yung mga incurable? Sige, sample, economic obsolescence. Halimbawa, bumaba ang property dahil pumutok ang bulkang Pinatubo. Bumaba ang property kasi nagkaroon ng economic depression sa isang area. So those are type of depression. Wala tayong magagawa. Halimbawa ngayon sa Iran sa Ukraine, di ba? Natira ang economy nila eh. So yung mga property doon nag-depreciate. So definitely as far as the depreciation is concerned, it's incurable unless ma-solve na yung war. So, parang ganun lang yung concept ng curable or incurable. Jayan?
Po.
Yan, sige.
Number 7 po. The following are the basic needs in any human settlement areas as specified in BP 220 except A, power, B, parks and playground, C, water, D, telephone and internet access.
Except. Siguro ang concept yan, ano yung must have? Ano yung basic need? Ano yung nice to have lang? Parang needs and wants to.
Telephone and internet access.
Yan. Tingnan natin kung yun ang definition. Yeah. So, telephone and internet access. Wala kasi yan sa BP 220 eh. Yung power, may standard dyan. Parks and playgrounds, depende sa density ng subdivision. Merong, merong percentage yung spaces ng parks and playground. Water. So, hindi daw kasama sa BP 220 yung telephone and internet access. Maybe in the future, pag inamend siguro yung BP 220, baka isama na ang internet as basic need. Pero currently, in the current version ng BP 220, hindi kasama ang telephone and internet access. Sige. Si Donna. Tinawag ko na ba si Donna?
Hindi ko po.
Yan, sige.
For subdivision project, 1 hectare or more, the owner shall reserve 9% of the gross area for open space. A, 30%, B 70, C 88, D 40. So kapag to open space, 30% po. 30 po, letter A.
Okay.
Bakit?
Kindly ano to kindly research to. I want to be sure on this question. So, Sir Mike, pwedeng pa screenshot ito. Alam ko yung sinasabi kasi ni Madam Donna, yung saleable and non-saleable. Di ba? The saleable is
Yes
70%, the non-saleable is 30% minimum. So, let's just check the literature behind this question. So, screenshot lang ni Engineer Mike. Tapos, ipopost natin ito sa GC. So, gusto ko makita saan nanggaling itong sagot na ito. So, malamang may table yan. Okay? Ayun, si Mucha.
According to BP 220, it is the portion of the subdivision which is generally not built on and intended for passive or active recreation. A, vacant lot. B, guardhouse. C, linear park. D, parks or playground. C po.
Ano daw, parks and playgrounds. Sir Mike, pa-screenshot din to, no? Para ma-explain natin yung concept. Doon na lang sa GC natin. Na-screenshot na ba, Sir Mike? Wala ta si Sir Mike. Sir Mike.
I-screenshot ko po, saglit lang.
Okay, sige. Yan. Para malaman natin yung mga konsepto. Okay? Okay na?
Okay na, sir.
Okay. Si Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila.
Okay, sir. The state enforces its eminent domain powers through the process called expropriation. B, land banking. C, land assembly. D, litigation. Letter A.
Yeah, that's the expropriation. So, di ba, apat yung power of the state. The police power, the power of eminent domain, the power of taxation, and the power of escheat. So, the process na ini-enforce ang eminent domain through the process called expropriation. So, ang isang example kasi ng paggamit ng eminent domain, yung in-example ko before, binuksan na ng kapatid ko tsaka ni Mayor yung daan dito sa amin kasi wala kaming daan. So, binuksan nila using the power of eminent domain through the process of expropriation. Itong land assembly, kindly check the definition. No? Kasi maraming reviewer nakita ko yan before. So, pati yung land banking. So, yung ano talaga, real estate definition nila. As I have said, dapat po everyday sa lahat, lalo na yung mga bago. Everyday, you have to memorize at least 10 real estate terms. Kung hindi man memorize, at least you understand it by heart. Kung hindi man alam yung exact definition word for word, at least by heart alam yung definition. Kasi yung broker's exam, lalo na yun sa fundamentals, it's more of the definition of term. Kaya yung expropriation na yan, power of eminent domain, police power, power of taxation, and escheat, it's sigurado, malaking chance. Kundi man yung apat na yun, pero majority doon lalabas sa board exam. Okay. Si Miss Jean. Miss Jean.
Blank refers to areas identified by the appropriate national agency or by the local government unit with respect to areas within its jurisdiction, which shall be used for the relocation of the underprivileged and homeless citizens. A, blighted areas. B, areas for priority development, idle lands, and resettlement areas. D po.
Yeah, ang tawag doon mga resettlement areas. Pero take note of the definition of ABC. Kasi lumalabas po yan sa board exam. Anong definition ng blighted areas? Anong definition ng areas for priority development? And definition ng idle lands. So make sure to know also the definition of those three terms. At least isama nyo na sa 10 nyo today yung apat na yan. Si Mucha.
A utility company requested you to appraise a right-of-way for a water line. What appraisal approach will you use in order to determine the fair value of the right-of-way? A, cost approach, B, market comparable approach, C, income approach, and D, development approach. A, cost approach.
Sige. Explain ko bakit letter B ang sagot. At least pag lumabas to, Mucha, ano mo na to, correct answer mo na sa board exam. Bakit market comparable approach? Pag sinabi kasi approaches to value, tatlo lang naman yan. Cost approach, the market comparable approach or the market data approach, and the income approach. So by elimination, hindi nakasama ang letter D. So A, B, C lang tayo. So a utility company requested you to appraise a right-of-way for a water line. What appraisal approach will you use in order to determine the fair value of the right-of-way? So wala tayong pinag-uusapang income. Kasi normally, ang pinag-uusapan lang ng mga appraisal sa income property, yung mga rental properties, mga apartments, mga staycations. So yun ang mga inaan natin sa income. So definitely it's not C or D. Baka kasi ano naman kayo, ang sagot kanina parang letter A, cost approach. Kasi sa cost approach, we determine the value of the land and the building. So, halimbawa, magkano itong house and lot na to? So, ang gagamitin natin doon, cost approach. Most likely than not, magkano ang ginastos ng tinayo ang bahay na to? Tapos, magkano ang halaga ng lupa? So, kaya lang dito, lupa lang ang pinag-usapan, right of way lang. So, the most the most used approach here is the market comparable approach. Titingnan mo lang sa kabilang sa kabilang street ba or sa kabilang barrio ba magkano bang nabili yung mga right of way. So we will use the market comparable approach. Okay, number 13. Si Ma'am Marieta, natawag ko na ba? Di pa ata.
Ay, sir.
Sige.
Refers to the most reasonable price of land and shelter based on the needs and financial capability program beneficiaries and appropriate financing scheme. A price cost, effective cost, market cost, affordable cost. Affordable cost.
Yeah, affordable cost. Take note of the definition of A, B, and C din. Pakisulat nyo na lang. Caprice. Ano yung definition ng caprice? Cost, effective cost, and market cost. Ayan, at least 4 definition na. Yan, additional 4. Si Miss Joanna. Yan. Naulit lang to. Ibang ano lang, ibang dating lang ng question. Miss Joanna?
The criteria that define the highest and best use include all of the following except the use must be physically possible. The use must be legally permissible and economically feasible. The use must be low density. The use must be maximally productive. The criteria that define the highest and best include all physical. Except low density. Tama.
Yeah. Tama. Kasi as I have discussed kanina, yung HABU or the highest and best use, it should be physically possible, legally permissible, economically or financially feasible, and maximally productive. Yun ang definition niya. So wala sa definition yung must be low density. So the answer is letter C. Si Jayan ba? Jayan, natawag na ba?
Ako, Mars. Hindi ko alam yung highest and best. Inaano ko na. Ha?
Mukhang may fancy may fancy Ma'am Joanna sa likod eh. Parang nandiyan si Paring Jomar eh.
Wala po, yung anak ko po.
Yung anak ko. Tawag dito. Si Jayan, natawag na ba kita?
Opo, sir. Natawag na po.
Sige. Si Sir Perseus muna. Sir Perseus, siguro may sounds ka na ngayon. Naulit itong tanong na to na last week to eh. Sir Perseus? Mukhang hindi pa rin, wala pa rin sounds si Sir Perseus. Gusto niya magsalita eh. Hindi lalabas yung sounds. Sige, si Ma'am Alberry. Mukhang kararating lang ni Ma'am Alberry. Si Ma'am Mira kasi nasa biyahe kaya hindi ko tinatawag. Miss Alberry? Nako. Kasi nilagay ko na yung tanong. Okay lang.
Hello po, sir.
Yan. Sige. Miss Alberry?
The phenomenon of indirectly investing in real estate markets in ways that minimize risk. For example, investment made collectively with pooled money or the use of investment packages, funds such as mortgage-backed securities sold in the secondary financial market, as opposed to direct investment, where investors own property or hold mortgage a long-term trends that has had significant impact on real estate values. A. Market collapse. B. Incorporation. C. Securitization. D. Syndication. D po.
Ano sagot mo lang?
D po.
The answer is C. Securitization. So, kindly po to kung hindi man at least visual memory pag tinanong to securitization. Pero yung syndication, ang term na yan ginagamit sa US. Ang syndication kasi, ang definition niyan, parang halimbawa, I have a project, kailangan kong kumuha ng mga investors. So halimbawa, si Joliver ang project proponent. Meron akong project worth 10 million that will yield possibly halimbawa 5 million in the next 2 years. So magpipitch ako ngayon sa mga investors. So dun sa 10 million, ang meron ko lang 1 million. So I just have 10% na pamuhunan. So sasabihin ko ngayon sa mga investor, mag-invest kayo sa akin ng 9 million. So mangingi ako isa-isa sa kanila with a document. Tapos pati yung hatian ng profit pag-uusapan namin. Pero normally kasi meron ding management fee yon. So that process of collecting investment sa mga investors sa US, they use this word syndication. Sa atin kasi medyo pangit ang pangit ang term na syndication, parang sindikato. Pero it's a term really used kasi baka itanong to sa board exam, hindi nyo sagutin kasi alam nyo ang syndication is bad. Pero that is a term used in US sa pagkukolekt ng mga investment. So in case ang itanong yung syndication, hindi ka na magdalawang isip na may ganun palang term na ginagamit sa pagkukolekt ng mga investment for a project kapalit ng return sa investment. Si Sir Carl, parang si Sir Carl ba yung taga New Era? O hindi ata.
Hello sir, hindi po. PLM.
PLM, sorry. Yan sir, pwedeng pakibasa?
Which of the following is classified as priority development areas? A. Tourism development areas identified by the Department of Tourism as indicated in the current medium-term Philippine Development Plan. B, sites identified and proposed to be developed by local government units into socialized housing projects which are presently used for agricultural purposes. C, agricultural areas intended for ecozone projects pursuant to RA 7916. And lastly, D, all of the above. Wait lang. I think all of the above. Letter D.
Yeah. So, this is a test-taking strategy. Pag merong all of the above, most likely that is the answer. Pag merong none of the above, most likely that is not the answer. Kasi, siyempre, parang ako, gumawa na rin ako ng tanong, hindi ko pa ba ilalagay yung tamang sagot? So, most probably than not, pag merong all of the above, yun ang sagot. Pag merong choice na both A and B, or both B and C, most likely yun ang sagot. Pag none of the above, most probably than not, that is not the answer. So, nice one, Sir Carl. So, ito, maganda yan. Sige, si Sir Christian. Si Sir Christian.
Hello. Ayan. Number 17. Lina Law. Hindi ako familiar dito, sir.
Lina Law
ARA
is the UDHA.
ARA 6732. BRA 6552. CRA 9653. DRA 9700. ERA 7279.
Yeah.
So, guess answer, sir, letter D. RA 9700.
Sige. Isa-isayin natin. Ang hindi lang ako masyadong familiar dito is the letter A. Pero kasi lumalabas ito sa board exam. Kaya you really have to search about this A, B, C, D, E. Ang lumalabas sa board exam yan, definition lang ng, kunyari, ano ba yung RA 7279? Yung UDHA to, yung Urban Development. So dapat alam mo yung definition niya tsaka yung RA number niya. Itong RA, sige, ano natin? Sinerch ko na yan. Lina Law. Sige, Lina Law muna. Lina Law is the RA 7279. So, ito, the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992 or the RA 7279, also known as the Lina Law. Kasi ang proponent niyan noon ay si Senator Joey Lina. So, that is RA 9292. Ang isa ring lumalabas sa board exam, ito kasi favorite ito ng mga kliyente na ginagamit. This is the Maceda Law. The RA 6552 or ito yung act na nagpo-protect sa mga buyers. They also call it the Maceda Law. So, sa it's the Realty Installment. Ito lumabas to Ito yung definition niya, Realty Installment Buyer Protection Act. Yung exact niya. Maceda Law, dapat alam mo kung magkano ang i-refund sa kliyente. Provided na nakapagbayad siya ng at least 2 years. So after 2 years, di ba nasa down payment period siya, ang nabayad niya ay nasa 2 years nakakapag-installment siya. Pwede ba siyang mag-refund? Pwede. As long as na 2 years. Pero magkano ang ma-refund? It starts with 50%. Tapos may math yun kung ilan ang nadadagdag per year. So, kindly check the definition of 6552 or the Realty Installment Buyer Protection Act, also known as the Maceda Law. Pati yung paano yung process ng pagre-refund at magkano. So, it starts with 50% after 2 years of installment payment. So, lumalabas po yung Maceda Law na yan. I guess, hindi pwedeng hindi siya lumabas. Yang 6552 na yan. Kasi paborito yan ng mga ng mga clients. Ito namang 9653 is the Rental Control Act. Lumabas to. Tinanong lang, what is the Rental Control Act? So, sagot is 9653. So, kindly note of this. Itong 9700, kung di ako nagkakamali, this is the CARP yung Agrarian Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Act. Lumalabas to sa board exam. 9700. Ito tama. For the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program regarding the land acquisition. So, ano to? 9700. It's the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform. CARP. Sa CARP po to. So, paki-memorize to. No? Yung mga, kunyari, wala na kayong time, kahit hindi nyo na aralin yung buong batas, at least you know the definition of term, yung RA number, yung exact pangalan ng batas, tsaka normally yung mga penal provision lang, kung magkano yung penalty, yun lang. Pero you don't have to read everything. Yun naman ang purpose kaya nag-ano tayo ng mga question and answer. More or less kasi dahil database, naka-data bank lang yan, baka ito na yung mga sinubmit ng mga ano natin, ng mga review centers. Okay? Number, ano na tayo? Number... Okay ba, Sir Christian?
Yes, sir. Okay po.
Sige. So, dito pa lang, yung 6732. Ano natin? 6732. Alam ko sa ano to sa mga title reconstitution. Tama. Administrative reconstitution of title, that is 6372. Para maano lang ako dyan, meron lumabas nun sa board exam. Pag nasunog daw yung RD, kasi nangyari ito sa Bulacan, nasunog yung RD. Paano yung yung process sa pagre-reconstitute ng ng titulo? So, alamin niyo kung ano yung term na 'yon. Pag nasunugan yung nasunog yung RD, o kaya pag nawala, anong process? Nawala ang title, lost title, paano yung proseso noon? So, we just have to understand those. Kasi part yan ng brokerage. Okay, next question. Si Ma'am Marieta ulit tayo. Ma'am Marieta?
Sorry sir, hindi pala ako naka-mute. The following diminish the value of property except economic obsolescence, deterioration, functional obsolescence, utility. Diminish the value of property except. May ninote ako.
So meaning diminish, binabawasan yung value.
Yes sir, diminish the value. Utility sir.
Yeah. Kasi utility, positive yun parang pina-appreciate. Pero yung economic obsolescence, these are the type of sa depreciation to. The deterioration or the physical deterioration, the functional obsolescence. So utility. Si Si Donna. Parang wala si Sir Efren, no?
Externalities are?
Nagdo-drive lang po siya.
Okay. Sorry, Donna. Sige, diretso lang, Donna.
Externalities are factors outside the property that can affect the property value. B, losses in value due to design and changes in building standards. C, increase in value due to changes in land value. D, losses in value due to changes in buyer preference. So, externalities. So, sa loob. Hindi na yung losses in value. changes. Let there be losses in value due to design.
When you say externalities, it's outside. So that's the term there. So outside, externalities, mga economic factor, yan, mga outside yan. Yung kasing sa 2, doon loss in value due to design, functional yun. Kumbaga, nabago yung design, hindi na applicable yung design na yon. Halimbawa, dati ang sukat lang ng halimbawa ang sukat dati ng pintuan nasa 1.9 lang. Ngayon, normally standard is 2.1. So outdated na yung design. So functional yon. So pag externalities, we are talking about outside outside factors. So lumalabas yan sa board exam. So we just have to understand the concept, no? Okay. Si Miss Sheila ulit. Miss Sheila?
Yes, sir.
Yan.
BBM stands for A, barrio boundary monument, B, barangay boundary monument, C, basketball boundary monument, D, all of the above. Letter A, barrio boundary monument.
Sakto, taga Iloilo mo si ma'am, hindi yata sa BBM. Lenny yata siya. So, ba't walang Bongbong Marcos dito? Dapat may Lenny. Hindi pala Lenny ang tanong kanina. Lina. Lina Lo, di ba, Sir Christian? Hindi pala siya Lenny Lo. So,
Yes, sir. Lina Lo.
Lina Lo, hindi pala Lenny. Parang politika to, ba't dito may BBM naman? So, Barrio Boundary Monument. Lumalabas ta, no? Itong mga simple, simple acronyms. So, pag lumabas yan, dapat alam na natin. Barrio, hindi barangay ang ginamit. Barrio Boundary Monument. So, CAD and SWO. So, this is more of the, so, cadastral land subdivision and special work order. So, ako na yung sumagot. So, ito po mga for memorization lang po yung ganitong mga tanong. Okay. Miss Michelle. Yeah.
RA 729 requires developers to develop for socialized housing an area equivalent to 20% of the gross area or project cost of the remaining subdivision project, which is the more detailed interpretation of 20% provision. A, land equivalent 20%, and housing units equivalent to 20% of the aggregate area of all housing units, or 20% of the total cost of the project. B, 20% in the general project development. B, 20% is the approved and negotiated cost of development. D, 20% as approved by LGUs and HLURs. I think A po kasi hindi pinakamahal.
Yeah. Ang dito, normally, the longest choice is the answer. Ito ay base sa RA 7279 na dapat yung 20%, halimbawa ang project ay 10 hectares, at least 20% of that will be allocated for socialized housing. Yung iba naman, ang pinagbe-basis, halimbawa ang project cost is 10 billion, at least 2 billion will be allocated for socialized housing. But alam ko may bagong lumabas, hindi na 20%, 15%. So kindly check on that. Hindi na siya 20%, 50%. Ang worry ko lang is baka kasi ito yung nasa database ni PRC. So at least alam nyo 20% yon. Kagandahan, walang 15% dito. In case may makita kayong 15%, yun na yung kasing bago. Yung 15% na lang ang allocation for socialized housing. So yun lang ang ibig sabihin nun. Kaya kung may makikita nyo yung ibang subdivision, bakit ang ganda ng subdivision sa dulo merong row house? Ano nila yon? Ang tawag doon compliance. So may 15% compliance. Pero before, that is 20%.
Sir,
Okay? Yes.
part ng Linalo yan, no?
Yeah. UDHA. Nasa UDHA to. Urban Development. Ano? So, part ng Linalo to. 7270. Sige. Sir Perseus, okay na yung mic mo?
Ayaw niya, sir.
Ayan, okay na. Narinig ka na namin.
Ayaw niya siya. Love trip.
Tumatawa rin si Jonah eh. Ayan, sir.
What are the exemptions from license to sell? Letter A, sale of subdivision lot resulting from partition of the land among co-owners or co-heirs. B, sale of subdivision lot or condominium unit by the original purchaser and by subsequent sale of the same lot or unit. C, sale of subdivision lot or condominium unit by or for the account or mortgage in the ordinary course of business to liquidate a bona fide obligation. D, all of the above.
Anong sagot, sir?
Not sure, sir. C?
Sige. Isa-isayin natin. Sale of a subdivision lot resulting from partition of land among co-owners or co-heir. Normally, nangyayari to pag namatay yung magulang, paghahatian ng mga kapatid. So, tinatawag na deed of partition. So, hindi kailangan ng license to sell nun. Halimbawa, 10 silang magkakapatid, hatiin yung lupa sa 10. So, it is exempted from license to sell. Letter B, sale of a subdivision lot or condominium unit by the original purchaser and any subsequent sale of the same lot or unit. So, parang meron ka lang bahay, binenta mo. So, hindi mo na kailangan ng license to sell. So, ano yon? Magbabayad ka nga lang ng capital gains tax. No? Pag binenta, normally, ganun yon. Kasi nag-gain ka. Pero nasa usapan pa rin ng buyer and seller yan. Letter C, sale of a subdivision lot or condominium unit by or for the account of a mortgage in the ordinary course of business to liquidate a bona fide obligation. Hindi rin kailangan ng license to sell yon. Kasi, halimbawa, may business kayo, kailangan nyo ng nalugi for some reason, kailangan nyo nang i-liquidate yung property na yun. Hindi nyo kailangan mag-seek ng license to sell sa DHSUD. So the answer is all of the above. Okay. Ito, nilagay natin to sa nilagay natin to sa GC. Ano ba? Si Jayan.
Hello po.
Sige, Jayan.
24. Water rights pertain to land bordering flowing water such as streams or rivers. The extent of ownership depends on whether the water bordering the land is navigable. A, riparian rights. B, littoral rights. C, prior appropriation. D, all of the above. Naalala ko lang po streams or rivers, riparian rights. A.
Anong sagot, Jay?
A po, riparian rights, streams or rivers.
Sige. So, yan. Nag-send ako sa GC natin para lang maalala nyo. Water rights pertain to land bordering flowing water such as streams or rivers. Pag river and streams, that is riparian rights. Pag access sa lakes, seas, and ocean, that is littoral rights. Yang riparian rights na yan, lumalabas yan. And probably yan littoral din na yan. So, I hope you understand yung keywords na lang. Sinend ko sa GC ulit. The riparian rights and the littoral rights. Pag river and streams, riparian. So, dito, sinabi dito, streams or rivers. Pag lake, seas, and ocean, that is littoral rights. Okay, the mixing of different funds. Sige, si Mucha. Hello, Mucha.
25. The mixing of different funds so that they can no longer be distinguished. A. Commingling. D. Collusion. C. Cheating. D. Yoofing.
Anong sagot?
B.
So, this is more of the definition. So, I googled it. Ang definition ng letter A, commingling, to mix together things of different types. So, ang definition, the mixing of different funds. So, most likely the answer is commingling. Pero panote na rin yung collusion, kiting, and puffing. Na-curious lang ako sa puffing. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng puffing? Iba kasi parang poop yung ko eh. Puffing is the practice of making exaggerated commendations. That's puffing. Yung collusion, check natin. Collusion. Secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, that is collusion naman yon. Kiting, the activity of flying a kite. Kala ko may ibang definition. The fraudulent writing or use of a check, bill, or receipt. That's kiting. So the answer is commingling, no? The mixing of different funds. Kasi minsan may mga ganyang may mga ganyang trivial questions. Parang trivial sila. Yung mga terms na hindi natin masyadong ginagamit. So kindly note the definition of these four. Okay? Ma'am Marietta, ikaw ulit.
Okay, sir. The HLURB is mandated to promulgate zoning and other land use control standard and guidelines, which shall govern land use plans and zoning and ordinances of local government pursuant to Section A of Executive Order Number 684, Executive Order Number 648, Executive Order Number 846, Executive Order 486A, that A. Zoning and other land use control standard by guidelines which shall govern land. Section of Executive Order Number, guess ko lang to sir, 684 po.
684, sige. Kindly Google this, no? Ang sagot kasi is Executive Order 648. As far as I remember, may ganyang lumabas sa board exam. I just don't know. So kindly, ang nakalagay kasi dito, Executive Order Number 648 is created by the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board, na DHSUD na ngayon, as the Human Settlements Regulatory Commission with the powers and attributes of a quasi-judicial body. Sir Mike, pwedeng pa-screenshot to? Kindly research and double check this. Pero may lumalabas kasing ganyang mga tanong, yung mga executive order na yan. So, as far as I remember, yung 648 na yan lumabas. So, kindly research na to, itong 648 na to. At baka pwede nyo rin ma-research yung 684 and 846 and 486. Kasi may ganyang lumabas sa board exam, yung executive order na yan. Okay? Si Christine. Hello, Christine.
Nakamute ko pala. The provision for minimum open space in subdivisions is required by A. PD 1096, B. PD 1216, C. PD 1185, D. PD 957. B po, PD 1216.
Yeah, alam niyo ba? Lumabas yan sa board exam. So huwag niyo kakalimutan yung open space na yan, yung 1216 na yan. Dapat alam niyo rin ang especially the PD 957. Maraming lumalabas diyan sa PD 957. Yan ang mga required to read. PD 957, BP 220, pati yung Lina Law, yung 7279, make sure. Yung 1096 na yan, tingnan natin, PD 1096. Oh, that is the National Building Code of the Philippines. Lumalabas din yan. So, kindly take note ng ano na yan, no? Yung 4 na batas na yan. Yung 1185 na yan, fire code. So, inote niyo po yung 4 na yan, ha? Dapat alam niyo yung PD number tsaka yung exact title nung ano na yon, ng batas na yan. So, make sure you write or screenshot po this question. Okay, next tayo. Si Miss Jean ulit. Miss Jean? Related din sa tanong kanina kay Sir Persiste.
The following are not required to obtain a license to sell from the DHSUD except sale of a subdivision with less than 50 house and lots, sale of a subdivision lot or condominium unit by the original purchaser and any subsequent sale of the same lot or unit, sale of a subdivision lot resulting from partition of the land among co-owners and co-heirs, sale of a subdivision lot or condominium unit by or for the account of a mortgage in the ordinary course of business to liquidate a bona fide obligation. A po.
Yeah, A. Kasi diniscuss na natin kanina yung B, C, D, and E. Silang exempted, except yan. So, kindly check lang, ito for your research, ano ba yung minimum number of saleable lots na kailangan ng license to sell? So, dapat masagot ito next review natin. Ano yung minimum number of properties for sale na kailangan ng license to sell?
Di ba 20,
Okay.
sir?
Number 29. Sino ba? Si Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle.
29. The subdivision is a simple one. A resulting block are more or less rectangular in shape. The resulting lots are of the same size or shape. C, no street or open space is delineated. D, the scheme results in less than 50 lots. D po.
Ano ang sagot?
D po, the scheme results in less than 50 lots.
Ang sagot is no street or open space. Ang example nito, isang diretsong daan lang. Halimbawa, may daan sa gitna, lots yung left or yung right. So, isang diretsong daan, yun ang mga sample ng simple subdivision. Yung walang mga corner, kasi yung mga 2 roads, normally 1 road lang to na diretso. Yun ang mga tinatawag na simple subdivision. Mga diretsong, parang yung gagawin namin sa Arayat to isang diretsong daan lang. So, it's a simple subdivision lang. So, yun lang ang definition. No street or open space delineated. Kaya doon sa gagawin namin sa Arayat, inalis ko na yung open space. So, I'll just consider it simple subdivision. Okay. Ayan ayun, may bago. Si Miss Candy. Hello, Miss Candy.
Morning, sir. Hindi ako nagising.
Okay lang. Sakto. Basahin mo lang, ma'am. Ay, nawala ata si ma'am. Sige mo.
Sorry, sir. Nag-mute pala.
Sige, ma'am.
Nagbabasa ako.
Pakibasa, ma'am.
Upon acceptance of the donation by the city or municipality concerned, no portion of the area donated shall thereafter be converted to any purposes unless after hearing the proposed conversation is approved by the portion is donated. Sir, hulaan ko lang ah.
Sige.
Letter B po. City
Letter
or municipal. Disod pala.
disod siya. So definitely hindi siya C and D. Kindly recheck this, no? I understand bakit letter B ang sinagot ni ma'am. Ako rin nalilito dyan eh. Sino ba ang may jurisdiction? So based dito ang DHSUD. Sir, may kindly screenshot this.
Okay, sir.
Kasi malamang lalabas to eh. Pero lumalabas din itong mga tanong na to sa environmental planning. Pero hindi ganitong hindi ganyang, kasi hindi ABCD karamihan doon. Ang sagutan doon ABC, ABCD, pero mga ganyang concept. So paki-screenshot na lang, Sir Mike. I-verify natin itong tanong na to. Baka kasi lumabas.
Okay na, sir.
Okay, so I will share another. Saglit, paano ba? Stop sharing. So bago tayo, mag-break muna tayo 5 minutes pala. Anyway, may tanong po kayo dun sa 30 questions na inano natin ngayon, diniscuss natin. Sir Christian, pwede ba mag-video lahat para makita man lang? May second part lang tayo, mga test-taking strategies lang. So our goal, since ngayon, nag-warm up lang tayo ngayon January. So yung February, halos ganito lang din ang facing natin. Pero pagdating ng March and April, medyo na tayo. Talagang student mode na kayo. Can you share us yung mga nasa likod mo, Donna? Nakikita na yung mga review nyo. Sila Donna kasi, sila Mucha, si Denaya, and Julina. They are our partners sa Lipa, Batangas. So, they're taking the board exam. So, nandiyan kami bukas sa Lipa, Batangas. So, yun. Tularan natin sila, oh. So, kung paano yung sinabi ko sa kanilang, they have no choice. They only have 2 choices. Either top or pass the board exam. Ganun din ang sinasabi ko sa lahat. So, we only have 2 choices. To either top or pass the board exam. Worst case scenario na lang yung pumasa lang. Pero our best case scenario, lahat dito top notch. Huwag kayong mag-alala, pwede naman tay-tay. Di ba? So sa mga bago, huwag po kayong matakot dun sa lumabas na natutuwa naman ako dun sa pumasa sumikat. Naging trending yung pangalan niya sa Facebook. Kasi nasulat siya sa Inquirer. Siguro first time in the history na isa lang ang pumasa sa board exam. So isa lang ang pumasa ang real estate consultant. So, siya? Cream of the crop. Yun ang sinasabi kong no choice, siya ang number 1. Siya lang pumasa eh. So, siya ang number 1. So, I'm hoping si Sir Christian, top notcher. Sir Christian. Lumabas na ba SO nyo, Sir Christian?
I hope so, sir.
Lumabas na ba yung SO?
Tapos, sir.
Anong banggit?
Actually, di pa ako nakapag-follow up ulit, sir.
Kailan po yung huling pagpapasa na requirement to take the board exam?
Parang Feb 15 lang kasi yung nakalagay yata, sir.
Feb 15. Pero kung April yung exam? April
15.
Extend pa yan. Malamang hanggang March 15 yan. Yeah, possible yan. March 15. Wag lang mas doon. Ang worry lang pag nilabas na kasi yung room assignment eh. Yun na yun eh. Sila Sir Perseus. Sir Perseus, may hinihintay pa kayong SO? O wala na?
Yes, sir. Meron pa po.
Lahat pala naghihintay. Sila Miss Joanna kaya? May mga SO pa kayo? Wala na. Sa PLM, sila Jayan, sila Carl.
Ano yung
Alam
SO,
ko po,
sir?
sir.
Parang TOR?
Parang TOR.
Meron na kami, sir.
Yung may tatak na for board exam purposes.
Papalagay lang daw.
Yung kayang mga taga University of Batangas. Kayo, Mucha, meron ba?
Wala pa rin po.
So, hinihintay nyo pa din.
Tinanong po namin kaso wala pa daw pong kasiguraduhan kung kailan
Okay. Si Ma'am Alberia, ng school ka nga kasi? PLM din ba?
System plus po.
System. Mag-exam ka na.
Graduating pa lang po ako.
Okay, graduating. Nag-prepare ka na to be top notcher, no? Si Miss Candy, ano kasing school ni Miss
System
Candy?
plus din po. Classmate po kami Albert.
Okay. So, napaaga lang. Si Ma'am Sheila sa ano? Si Ma'am Sheila sa Iloilo siya eh. Tama
Yes,
na,
sir.
Ma'am Sheila?
Yes.
Wala kang video, Ma'am Sheila. Hindi ka man namin masilayan.
Kanina kasi po, connecting lang. So,
Connecting lang. Ayun, nakita na namin si Miss Sheila. Tapos, sino pa ba? Si Christine, ano rin, Systems Plus. Mga ano to eh, mga Dean's Lister. Si Lance. Hello, Sir Lance. Anong school kayo, Sir Lance?
PLM po. Lunch lang
PLM.
po, wag na sir.
Ano?
Lunch lang po, wag na sir.
Gano'n. Yung mga PLM na yan, ano yan, lagi ako na-invite dyan eh. Sa mga ano nila. Sa mga seminar ng PLM. Si Jay, nandito na si Jay, alam ko.
Yes po. Thank you, sir.
Ayun, nasa una, tingin ako ng tingin dito. So, ano lang po tayo, break lang tayong mga 6 minutes para sa final part ng ano natin ngayon. So, yung next part is very useful in your preparation para po sa board exam. Kikis lang ako saglit kay baby. Sige.
Sir.
Sige. So, I will just share a screen. So, test taking strategies. Ito kinompile ko eh. Meron kasing nag-share. So, kinompile ko lang. So, yung mga test taking strategies na nakita nila na best practices across board exams. So, make it happen. Strategies in answering test questions. So, ito yung mga general strategy, mga tips nila. Read the question with each option as true or false question and choose the most true and best answer. So, minsan may mga na parang tama naman lahat. So, you will just choose the best answer. Pero most of the time, may laging naiiba. The positive and the negative. So, kung may 3 negative, may 1 positive, so most likely, yun ang answer. Yung positive na yun. Or may 3 positive, may 1 negative, yun ang answer. Kasi pag ang tanong sa dulo, laging may except. So always read the question hanggang dulo, no? Lalo na yung mga tricky questions na sa dulo, meron palang except. So, ano lang naman yon? Kung 4 na choices yan, 3 negative, 1 positive, or 3 positive, 1 negative. Another tip is don't keep changing your answer unless there is a valid reason to do so. Kung hindi mo rin siya alam, huwag nang pabago-bago. Kasi kung hindi ka rin din sure dun sa babaguhin mo. At wag mong gagawin na mag-shade ka kagad. Magiging bura-bura. Risky kasi pag may bura eh. Pero hindi naman sinabing bawal magbura. Pero hanggat maaari, wag mo munang ilabas yung paglilipatan mo. Maglipat ka na lang pag 45 minutes left or at least 30 minutes left sa time. Kumbaga na-scan mo na yung na-scan mo na yung reviewer mo. So, sure ka na sa mga answer mo, final answer na yon, doon ka pa lang maglilipat doon sa answer sheet na ini-insert, sinishade. Hanggat maaari, walang bura. Pero kung kailangan talaga magbura, make sure walang mark yon. Tapos, you will be required to choose among 4 options. 1 unlikely option, 1 poor answer, 1 possible answer, and 1 best correct answer. So, normally, sa 4 meron talagang hindi yun ang sagot. Alam mong, hindi na agad yun. Tapos, may poor answer, may possible answer, and 1 best correct answer. Ang dito, Pag puro alam mong possible, kunyari may sagot na all of the above, pag dalawa automatic alam mong possible na all of the above na yung sagot. And most likely than not, yung all of the above, yun ang sagot. So you just have to understand. Minsan pag hindi mo naiintindihan yung tanong, intindihin mo na lang yung mga sagot. From the mga sagot, i-reverse engineer mo para hanapin mo yung tamang sagot. So these are just general tips. Learn, saglit na. Hindi ko mabasa. Learn and process of elimination. Ano ba yung process of elimination? Process of elimination is a method to identify an answer among several ones by excluding all other options. Simply put, you arrive at the correct answer by reducing your choices. Parang yung ginawa natin kanina, yung approaches. Alam natin may tatlong approach lang. The income approach, the cost approach, and the market data approach. So definitely, yung development approach, hindi na yon. So pipili ka na lang dun sa tatlo. Ang next level of elimination natin, alam naman natin, yung right of way, walang pinag-uusapang income yon. So hindi na kasama yon. So na-reduce na lang sa dalawa yung choice natin. Nagkataon, dun sa choice natin na yon, possible answer yung cost approach na sinagot nung kasama natin kanina. Kaya lang, sa cost approach, kailangan din kasi normally kasi yon land and building. Wala naman building. Kaya most probably the answer is market data approach. Ito yung steps in the process of elimination. Read the questions fully and carefully. It's important. Pag hindi mo alam yung sagot, hindi mo na alam yung tanong, dapat basahin mo mabuti yung mga sagot. Para gamitin mo na lang is elimination. Read the questions fully and carefully. Read each answer starting with A and measure them against one another, trying to eliminate the answer that is less correct. And you can use marking system in your questionnaire. Pwede nyo gamitin yan, bilugan or i-check, depende sa'yo. Or cross mo, pag hindi siya, i-cross mo na lang siya. Always remember, even though hindi mo alam yung tanong, hindi mo alam yung sagot sa tanong, always remember, still, you have the 25% chances of getting the correct answer. Kaya huwag kang malungkot kung hindi mo siya alam. Malaki pa rin ang chance mo, 25%. And sabi ko nga, when in doubt, talagang wala ka ng choice, hindi mo talaga alam kung anong sagot. Choose C. The answer is C. So, when in doubt, the answer is C. Although, binibiro-biro ko lang yon, pero ako, ginagawa ko yung pag talagang litong-lito ako sa apat na tanong, ay apat na sagot, I go for the answer of C. Based sa statistics, mas mataas daw ang chances. Pero as I have said, huwag kang malungkot kung di mo alam yung sagot sa tanong. Still, 1 out of 4 ang chances mong makuha yung tamang sagot. Okay? Tricky questions. Very few multiple choice questions are deliberately tricky. These questions are designed to confuse you. Read again those questions which seems to be easy. Kaya importante, relax ka lang eh. Relax ka lang. Minsan, binalibaliktad lang niya, pero hindi naman pala talaga siya tricky, very simple lang. So, make sure you are always relaxed. Huwag mataranta. Kasi minsan, pag matataranta ka, ito totoo to, matatay ka. Lalo na hindi ka masyado nakatulog, matatay ka. Pag natay ka, may bumagsak sa board exam, natay ilang beses. Hindi niya natapos yung board exam, sa accounting yon. Pero dito naman kasi more of kakaunti lang naman yung computation. Siguro out of 400, marami na yung may 40 computations, so 10% or baka less pa. So wag tayong mataranta. And when we see the numbers, wag kayong mataranta. Pag hindi mo alam yung sagot, most likely it's C, or tingnan yung mga choices, minsan binabali-baligtad lang nila. Saglit lang, inom akong tubig, medyo na-acid ako. Pasensya na. Bigla akong sinumpong ng acid sa mga dibdib ko. Echo options. If two options are opposite each other, chances are one of them is correct. So ito totoo to. Pag north and south, more or less nandun yung dalawang sagot. So 50% na yung ano mo, chances mo to answer it. Ano na siya? Malaki ng chances mo. Parang pag tinanong mo yung nililigawan mo, huwag mo sabihin wala kang chance. Kahit siya pa yung pinakamaganda, pinakamayaman, pinakamagaling, our chances is always 50-50. Kasi ang sagot lang is either a yes or ano. Tama ba, Sir Mike?
Yes, sir.
Ikaw kasi nakabingwit ka ng ano eh. Beauty queen. Tawag dito na flight stewardess, no, Sir Mike?
Yes, sir.
At tinanong mo ba, yes or no lang?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so if opposite, more or less, isa doon ang sagot. It's either the north or the south. So, malaki ng chances natin nun. All of the above, ito. If you know 2 or 3 options seem correct, all of the above can be the answer. If at least one of the option is not correct, all of the above is not the answer. Okay? Paliwanag yun. Pag alam mo ng isa, hindi talaga siyang sagot, so hindi siya all of the above. Pero pag may dalawa na tama, most probably than not, all of the above ng sagot. And most of the time, the answer is all of the above. So dapat, ano natin yun? None of the above. If you know that at least one option is correct, none of the above would not be the answer. Oh? So definitely, ano yon, automatic yon. If you know 2 or 3 options seem wrong, none of the above can be the answer. On math problems, always do the computation. If you can choose none of the above only when you cannot get the result same with the other option. Pero most of the time, none of the above is not the answer. So always remember that. Ito mga ano lang to. If you know that at least one of the option is correct, none of the above would not be the answer. If you know that 2 or 3 options seem wrong, none of the above can be the answer. Pero most of the time, none of the above is not the answer. Kasi ako, gumawa ako ng board exam. Gumawa ako ng questionnaires. Gagawa ba ako ng exam na hindi ko ilalagay yung sagot? Ano yon? Ano yung gusto kong ituro? Hindi ko tinuro kung ano yung tamang sagot. So most probably na it's not the answer. So negative questions. Except but not. Yung mga yan, except but not. Create the equivalent positive statement. Choose the answer which do not fit to the positive statement. Ganun din sa positive questions. So, titingnan mo lang, alin yung mga naiiba. The batibot method. Pare-pareho yung tatlo na positibo, yung negatibo ang sagot. Pare-parehong negatibo yung sagot, yung isang positibo ang sagot. Answer with qualifiers. The answer is usually the longest worded with inclusive words that are better. Kasi hindi niya isusulat yun na mahaba kung hindi tamang sagot. Kasi mag-iisip na lang siya ng mga maling sagot na short lang. And since nagpagod siya, gumawa ng question na pagka isusulat yung pagkahaba-habang choices, so most probably than not, that is the answer. Kasi ako naman, kung mali rin naman ang ilalagay kong choice, ba't pakakahabaan ko pa? Unless that is the right answer. Inclusive answer, the option that will support or included all the other option is the best answer. Halimbawa kasi minsan may mga question na may mga sagot na partially tama, mali, short lang. Yung letter B, partially rin, konti lang. Yung D, ganun din. Pero yung C, parang nilagay niya lahat yung apat na yon ay yung tatlong ibang choices. So most probably, that is the best answer. So ang tawag doon, inclusive answer. Questions with keywords. Ito important. Be alert on questions which are already providing you the answer. Be careful, however, not to overdo this strategy. Minsan may sinasadya. Pero minsan, when you do not know the answer, read the keywords. Parang kanina, kung hindi mo alam yung anticipation, pero ang ginamit yung word na expected future value. Future. Expected. Meaning you are expecting it, you are just anticipating it. So make sure, pag hindi mo alam yung tanong, just read between the lines look for the keywords. Pero minsan may mga talagang sinasadya. So do not overdo that. Pero most of the time, nasa keyword, nasa tanong din yung sagot. Pagdating lalo na sa mga definition of terms. Unqualified absolutes. Be cautious before choosing an answer if you encounter words such as never, always, only, except. So dapat natin 'yon, no? Be cautious. Kasi palagay ko ito ang reason kung bakit nagkulangan ako nung kasi ang top notcher noon 82, nasa 81 ata ako. Sa broker noon. Ano siya, very regressive reader kasi ako. Hindi ko tinatapos yung tanong. Na-excite ako sa sagot. Tapos pagkatapos ng board exam, ma-realize ko, parang may nakasulat palang only, never, always, or except dun sa dulo. So, yun na yung kinorek ko nung nakapag-exam na ako na huli, yung sa real estate consultant. I made it a point na hindi ko na sinayang yung mga ganong klaseng mga tanong. Yung may mga except, never, always sa dulo, or only. Math problems. Numbers-related problems. Math is an exact science. Toss out the high and low and consider the middle range numbers. So, ito, based sa study nila, yung high and low, most probably hindi yun ang sagot. So, middle range. So, speaking of this, balikan ko lang, ulit-ulitin ko na sa inyo, sa statistics, make sure you know mode, median, mean, range, standard deviation, definition. At ano yung nila, mga samples nila. Kasi in all the exams, including the environmental planning, sa 4 na exam, may lumabas talagang statistics. Either the definition lang ng mga yon or yung mga sample po ng mga yon. Hindi ko ba alam. Kahit sa engineering namin noon, lumabas din yung mga statistics. Parang sa lahat ata ng board exam, automatic yung statistics. Pero yun lang naman, definition lang naman, or yung mga sample lang nila. Okay? Unfamiliar questions. Usually, the answer to unfamiliar question is also unfamiliar to you. Yun. Pag hindi ka familiar dun sa tanong, punta ka sa mga choices. Yung unfamiliar sa'yo, malamang yun ang sagot. Ito nagamit yung test-taking strategy din sa consultant eh. Sabi ko, hindi ko alam tong tanong. Hindi ko rin alam tong sagot na to. So most probably, yun ang sagot. So use hints from the question you know to answer those that you don't know. If all else fail, choose option B or C. Ito, sinabi niya, B or C daw ang sagot. Pero ako, ang recommendation ko, C. Pero dito, B or C lang daw. Many of the correct answer is hidden better if it is surrounded by distractors. Option A is usually least likely to be the correct one. Kasi, pag ako gagawa ng exam, siyempre, hindi ko muna ilalagay yung tamang sagot sa A. So, siya recommendation niya, it's either B or C. Ako recommendation ko C. So, if you are in doubt, the answer is C. Pero ano lang to ito na yung no choice ka. No choice ka. Yun ang sasagot mo, C. Do not forget, spend great time of your study time in analyzing and studying all the sample questionnaires given to you. Make sure to read all the glossaries for better grasp of real estate terms. Believe me, real estate broker exam is more of definition of terms. Maraming definition of terms. Pwede kayong mag-download sa Play Store, may mga nakita ako, or sa mga web, sa Google, definition of terms. Maraming lumalabas na definition of terms. Kaya mas maganda kung nababasa mo na yung mga definition nila, definition nila para ma-familiarize ka sa mga terms. Kung magti-10 ka a day, so if you still have around 70 days, roughly, at least meron ka 700 glossaries na matututunan mo by heart. Pag hindi mo talaga matutunan by heart, kabisotin mo lang yung definition niya. Okay, ito, meron pa siya. How to pass a PRC board exam? Reach your peak performance, take control of your physical, mental, and emotional. Sa akin, importante ang mental and emotional. Do not be distracted at wag din kayong ma-intimidate sa board exam. Board exam is easy to pass. Ang importante lang, ikaw mismo maniwala ka that you are going to top or pass the board exam. Ang sabi ko nga, dapat ang mentality, perfect the board exam. So that should be the mentality. May exam ako, international exam. Mali ko, isa or dalawa. Kasi ang lagi kong mentality, perfect the board exam, perfect the exam. So dapat ganun lagi ang mentality natin. Your mentality is to perfect it. Para mag-fail ka man, baka sakaling maka 99 ka, 98, o worst case maka 75 ka. Pero hanggang dun lang kasi yun ang passing natin. So choose a review center. Dahil sabi dito, invest in good review center, review materials, and yung kina-Jen, yung field center, I recommend their materials. Naaral nila yung materials nila. Pero check nyo rin yung sinasabi nilang Prevail. At marami ring other review centers na maganda yung reputation. Taking notes and listening to lecturers will help you retain the lessons in your mind. Prepare a study plan. Dito, construct a 60-day study plan. So, hindi pa naman uli ang lahat. Meron para 60 days. Devote 2 days doing practice exam. So, yung ginagawa natin na to, at least twice a week, di ba? Except tomorrow, baka linggo siguro, I will message you bandang afternoon. Bukas kasi nasa Lipa, Batangas ako to meet our team sa Lipa, Batangas. Yung 4 na reviewin natin dito na magiging broker. Learn how to adjust your schedule and plot a specific time for studying each topic. Yung 60-day plan it's mahaba na po yan. Kahit 30 days lang, pero kasi pag 30 days or 20 days medyo ako dun sa just to share you the experience, no. Sa appraiser 35 days. At tapos sa consultant hinintay ko pa kasi kung ma-approve ako hindi eh. Pero hindi agad din dumating. Pero nung 21 days before, 20 days before, nag-decide na ako, magre-review na ako. So when I review, I normally wake up at during the consultant 4 o'clock ata. 4 o'clock, I normally wake up and I study until 8. Tapos pahinga ako ng konti. Yung last 2 weeks ko, my last 14 days is full na talaga. Wala na akong dinivote na other thing. Nandun man ako sa opisina, pero nagre-review ako. Pero a 60-day plan, study plan is sufficient enough para mapasa yung broker's exam and even top it. What are common problems that you encounter when you are studying? You don't understand something or find the topic boring. Most of the time, board exam is boring. Ako, paano ko ba minomotivate yung sarili ko? Ang lagi ko na lang sinasabi, itong hindi ko babasahin, ito ang magiging deciding factor if I will be a top-notcher or not. So, kahit nakaka-boring siya, babasahin ko siya. Anyway, anything that is being read is boring. Sana kung napapanood lang, di ba? So, yun ang pang-motivate natin. Itong babasahin ko na to, at least will give me 2 to 3 questions for the board exam. Enough for me to be top-notcher. Dapat laging ganun ang mentality mo. Para no choice ka, babasahin mo siya. Kasi hindi ka magta-top-notcher. Huwag naman yung pag di binasa to, babagsak ako. Delikado naman yun. Ayan, common problem, you've lost motivation. It's very important. Kaya dapat you have to be mentally and emotionally prepared. To me, it's 80% mindset. That's the formula I follow both in life, in business, and in sports. It's 80% mindset plus 20% strategies or skills or talent multiplied by your course of action. Kung yung matalino, lagi ko sinasabi to, ay nag-aaral ng 2 oras to perfect the exam. Ako na hindi matalino, mag-aaral ako 4 hours. Kung hindi pa rin sapat yung 4 hours to perfect the exam, I will study 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. It doesn't matter. What matters to me, pagdating ng exam, parehas lang kami ng exam ng pinakamagaling sa klase. Kasi kung parehas lang kaming perfect or we have the same highest score, hindi na tinatanong kung sino mas matalino. Because nobody can argue with results. So dapat ganun ang mentality natin. If you are losing your motivation, use discipline. In the absence of motivation, there must be discipline. There are times kasi you feel like you don't want to do this, you don't want to read this, pero at the end of the day, you have to discipline yourself that you have to read that. So take note, discipline. Ano ba definition ng discipline? It's doing things you don't want to do but you have to do it. Sino ba naman ang gustong mag-aral ng alas 5 ng madaling araw? Wala naman. Di ba? Gaya na kanina, nag-review na tayo, 5 o'clock. Ako naman, naggising 3:15 or 3:10 kasi nag-power morning na ata ako ng 3:15. So, in the absence of motivation, there must be discipline. So, number 4, you struggle to find time to study. Simulan mo na ng mas maaga, alas 4. Para kung medyo mapetiks ka man, may alas 5 ka pa. Kaysa magsimula ka ng 1:00, baka tamarin ka, aabutin ng alas 5 ng hapon, hindi ka na nakapag-review. So, you can't stop procrastinating. Talagang ganito, bukas na lang. Hey, board exam is just, sa inyo, one day lang, kung di ako nagkakamali. Ba't hindi mo pa ibigay yung best mo? Kasi, isipin mo na lang yung, emotional and mental challenge pag bumagsak ka. Yung lungkot nun. Yung hindi ka makagalaw pag sumablay ka. Hihintayin mo pa bang malulungkot ka? Hihintayin mo pa bang mapi-feel down yung anak mo, yung asawa mo, just because you fail? So stop procrastinating. Kasi I will rather have the pain of studying than the pain of failing the board exam. Titiisin ko na lang na mag-aral ako ng maaga. Titiisin ko lang na basahin nyo ng mga boring topic. I will rather take that pain of studying than take the pain of failing the board exam. Don't worry too much. The board exam is just a paper-based exam. Hindi siya ganun kahirap. Sabi ko nga, lagi kong mentality sinasabi ko. Kahit sa pagbibenta sa real estate, you cannot sell this high. Kasi meron kaming isang agent in 1 month nakabenta siya 41 units. Ano lagi kong sinasabi sa kanila? You are worrying too much. Pero ang totoo, sabi ko, hindi pa naman ang pinabibenta sa atin ang Mars. Bakit iniisip mo mahirap? Hindi pa naman yung moon ang pinabibenta sa atin. Ang pinabibenta pa lang sa atin is a tangible property that we see. Kaya ako, idol ko yung mga sa insurance. They are selling a concept. They are selling things that we cannot see. They are just selling ideas. The more sa real estate, sabi ko, dapat mas marami tayong benta. Bakit? The property is tangible. You can see it. You can touch it. So you should easily sell it. Ganun din sa board exam. Ang board exam naman natin, yung mga topic, binigay naman sa atin. Yung mga sample questions, itinuturo naman sa atin like what we do here. Tapos hindi tayo magiging top-notcher or at least papasaman lang. So do not worry too much. You can do it definitely. If others did it, you can also do it. Turnaround strategy. Don't think. Worst question, do I feel like studying? You should feel like studying as always. Again, I would rather take the pain of studying boring subjects or boring concept than take the pain of failing the board exam. Ito, pain and pleasure. Do think, what would be the reward? Ang reward, mapapaligaya mo ang anak mo, mapapaligaya mo ang asawa mo, mapapaligaya mo yung mga taong umaasa sa'yo, especially if you are a team leader na or you have a company, mapapasaya mo yung mga agents, mapapa-accredit mo na sila under sa'yo, di ba? So that is the reward. Dapat yun ang mentality natin. So just start. Sustaining it, supposition question, what could you do to enjoy and look forward studying? So sana ganito po yung mentality natin in our board exam. Tips on review, time management, reading. It's not a memorization exercise. Most common mistake. Don't be disappointed if you cannot remember. According to research, our mind wanders 20 to 30 times at a time depending on the book that we read. Alam nyo, okay lang kung hindi mo natandaan. Importante na basa mo, ulitin mo. Ulit-ulitin na. Ako, turo ito ng tatay ko. Na, kasi ang tatay ko yung Makata. Nagme-memorize siya ng mahabang tula. Sabi ko nung nabubuhay siya, paano ka nagme-memorize? Alam mo na, kahit mahina yung memorya mo, basahin mo lang ng 10 beses. Mame-memorize mo din. Parang yung mga sample test questions, kahit nag-fail ka ng 2 to 3 times, dapat yung 4th time hanggang 10th time. Sigurado yun. Dito nga 20 to 30 times at a time depending on the book that we read. So, dapat ang mentality natin, kung hindi mo siya na-memorize, basahin ulit. Increase your ability to focus. Turn away from your computer. Ignore your cell phone. Ito, I suggest in the last 20 days or last 30 days, bawasan nyo na muna yung sa cellphone. Mag-aral muna kayo. Ako, ano lang naman, ang ginawa ko lang, work lang. Ang medyo sumisira lang ng oras ko yung chess. Kasi, for some reason, I do not know na dun sa isang application ng chess, naka 12,000 games na ako. So, imagine the amount of time that I wasted just playing chess. So, selective attention, pay full attention to the study material in front of you, type of disaster, sensory distractors, emotional distractor. Ito, yung bigla out of nowhere sasabihin mo, depression is real. Magpo-post ka na lang sa Facebook, hay naku, ang hirap mag-review. No, do not do that. Kasi negative begets negative. Positive begets positive. Kaya dapat lagi mo lang pinopost, you are always excited. You are always ready to read the concepts, answer questions. Kasi ang ultimate goal naman dito, hindi yung magpakalungkot ka o magpaka-pressure ka. The ultimate goal why you are taking the real estate broker exam is to pass and to be a broker. So anything that does not work, throw it. Anything that works, keep it. Sustain it. Build from it. Dapat ganun po yung mentality natin sa board exam. So memorizing, write it down, read what you have written down aloud repeatedly, paulit-ulit. Kung hindi mo siya naiintindihan, paulit-ulit mo lang siya basahin malakas. So yung mga taga Batangas natin na nagsulat dyan sa mga wall nila sa Manila paper, every morning, kung mahirap i-memorize, basahin mo lang yan. Sigurado mamememorize mo na rin. Associate it with an image because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So, eventually, titingnan ko kung makakagawa tayo ng mga picture for you to understand this. Di ba nag-send ako ng picture dun sa GC natin? The definition, yung illustration ng dominant and servient estate. So, ang nagbibigay ng right of way, normally yung property nasa unahan, ang tawag doon servient state. Tapos siya ang nagbibigay ng daan doon sa property sa likod, which is the dominant estate. Bakit dominant siya? Nasa likod siya. Dominant siya kasi binigyan siya ng right of way. Ibig sabihin siya ang hari. Binigyan siya kaya dominant siya. So, create your own mnemonics, codes, numbers, and abbreviations, acronyms. Manage your emotions. Dito pala yun. A person is able to manage his emotion better. Even negative ones is more likely to achieve his intended results. Ako ito po yung masishare ko sa inyo. In my Facebook, I never write anything negative. Anything that is na will not help the organization, I don't post it. Kahit minsan malungkot na ako, hirap na ako, I never post it. I always manage my emotions. At the end of the day, minsan isipin ko, magagalit ba ako o ipagpapabukas ko na lang? Kasi pag magagalit ka sa ikagigiba lang yun, wag mo nang sabihin. Parang ako, mentality ko, in our industry, there are people, na talaga minsan salbahe. Pero I never deal with that. Kung wala rin akong mabuting sasabihin sa tungkol sa isang tao, I never say it. When people ask me about someone, I always tell about the positive thing about that man or about that lady. So, ganun ang mentality. Kung negative, hindi ko na lang din sasabihin kasi what for? So, ganun din sa board exam. Huwag mong entertain yung negative emotions. Ang lagi mo lang iniisip, pag binasa ko to, lumabas to sa board exam, pang top-notcher na question ito. So, dapat we have to manage our emotions. Keep your body healthy, exercise, attention, and rest. Reward yourself. Conquer test anxiety. Ito yung sinasabi ko. Do not feel anxious, worried all the time. Don't lose your composure. Hindi mo siya nakuha. Kunyari, nag-mock exam ka, out of 100, naka 30 ka lang. Don't worry. Then take it again. As I have said, meron akong kaibigan. Kasama ko siya sa review noon. Siya lagi ang isa sa pinakamababa sa ano namin. Siyang pinakamababa lagi sa buong klase. Isa siya sa pinakamababa. Kung 40 kami doon or 30, lagi siya sa below top. Nasa 25 to 30 siya. 26 to 30. Pero nung board exam, alam niyo po ba? Naka 80 plus siya. Ang top notcher is 82. Siya 80 something. Biro niyo yun? Out of nowhere, mas mataas pa siya sa iba naming nagtatap noon sa klase. So, do not be discouraged pag hindi mo marami kang mali sa mga test questions. Nagkataon, ang lumabas sa board exam, yung mga minali niya. Pagdating ng board exam, alam niya yung sagot. Answering the questions, first pass, read the entire question before answering. Second pass, mark the sure answers. Skip computation and uncertain questions. Solve the computations. Analyze uncertain questions and narrow down to 2 best answers. Take a good guess. Follow examination day tips. Follow directions. Of course, importante ito. Makinig kayo sa proctor. Kung baka ano yung ma-shade nyo, naalala ko tuloy na mali yung hindi nakasunod sa instruction yung isang examinees. Iba yung nagamit niya ata. So, automatic mali na lahat ng sagot niya. Parang mali ata na shade niya, A or B. I don't know, hindi ko matandaan. Ang ginawa nung nung examinees na yun, sinabi sa proctor, nag-request siya ng manual checking. Pumasa siya. So, in case mag-error, do not hesitate to ask the proctor kung pwede manual checking. Kunyari, nangyari talaga wala Manual. Halimbawa, namali ka, na-skip mo pala yung na-skip mo yung number 20. Yung sagot mo sa number 20, nilagay mo sa 21. Hanggang tuloy-tuloy na yon. Di technically, almost mali na. Tsamba na lang kung may itatama ka doon. May na-skip ka kasing isa. Magbubura ka ngayon. Risky dahil machine. Do not hesitate to talk to the proctor. Sabihin mo yung nangyari. And if you can request for manual checking. Kasi during our time, may pinagbigyan manual checking. Siyempre, pray it is your best armor. Pray like you have never studied and study like you have never prayed. Parang nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang tawa. Okay? Pwede mag-video ba lahat? Before we end? Sige. May question po ba kayo?